I'm not thinking that God. I'm not marrying myself. Okay. So this verse, Akram, what do you understand by this verse? It's finished, isn't it true? Islam was completed in terms of acts of worship. It's not up to you and me to add anything, isn't it true? Right? But knowing this, right? Afghans, there are a lot of innovations in Afghanistan. Algerians, a lot of innovations. Algerian, right? A lot, right? Turkey, worse, right? Your eyes, right? After the Salah, for example, right? In all Turkish mosques, they would have this recitation in the last three verses of Surah Al-Hashr, right? Wallahu alladhi la ilaha illallahu alimul ghaibi wa shahada huwa rahmanur rahim. Have you been in Turkish mosque before? Right? So this is what they always say, all the mosques, right? So, and instead of sitting still on that place to do the adhkar, because what is the significance of when you do your salah, say your salam, to sit still in that place? What is significance? Yes, until you move. But they did the opposite. Immediately they move place to do the sunnah. Completely different, right? I don't know why they get things wrong, but whereas Islam was supposed to be completed. So if they understand this, they should not change anything, because in the one of the last message of Prophet Muhammad SAW, he said, "Taraktu fikum amrayni lan tadillu ma tamasaktum bihima kitabillahi wa sunnatin nabiyyin." I'm leaving you two things, and you will never be led astray if you hold on to them. What is this? The book of Allah, the Quran, and the Sunnah, which is His ways, in which we know for sure, Yasin, right, that when we follow Prophet Muhammad SAW, what will we gain? And no. Forgiveness. Right? Which surah is this? 331. قُلْ إِن كُنْتُمْ تُحِبُّونَ اللَّهَ فَاتَّبِعُونِي يُحْبِبْكُمُ اللَّهُ وَيَغْفِرْ لَكُمْ ذُنُوبَكُمْ وَاللَّهُ غَفُورٌ رَحِيمٌ. Say, O Muhammad, to mankind, if you love Allah, then follow me. Then Allah will love you and forgive you of your sins. Is it very clear? You need any scholars to interpret for you this kind of verse? It's very clear. Just follow the Sunnah. You get Allah's love and forgiveness. As straightforward as that. And yet many people are inventing new things. If you don't believe me, right, the Maulid is coming soon, isn't it true?
Yes.
We are in the, last third of which month? You know. I know in Indonesia might be Rabiul Awal. The rest of the world is Safar, right? It is during the Rabiul Awal, then Indonesians or many countries, Turkish I'm sure, will celebrate the Prophet's birthday, isn't it true? And we discuss, and I show you the videos of even the Pakistanis singing the birthday songs, right? Happy birthday to Prophet Muhammad and all this. And it's so ridiculous, right? That they're doing this and recording it, feeling so proud. Yeah. Yeah, Maulid, they discuss, yeah. And we have to be careful that we throw away all this knowledge, right? And all this unbeneficial knowledge will come to us, right? So if coming back to the surah number 5 verse number 3, that Islam was complete, when you read this, let's say 2, 4, 6, about 15 of you here, right? Your take will be different. Everybody's different, right? Some people say, okay, I need to make sure I change. I don't do these innovations, right? Because innovations will lead to hellfire, right? And also innovations will, not only that, misguide is hellfire, but on the day of judgment, and you will make sure you don't do innovations. Is it true? There must be what we call it, evidence from the Quran, authentic hadith. If not, then you need to leave it aside. Very important. Yeah. So it is important that all of us understand about that Islam has been completed. Everything is very clear, right? And we can only see from the Quran what Allah described to the people of the book, like the Jews, and how they treat the Torah like a donkey, right? They have this burden on their back, but they don't know anything about the Quran. Are all Muslims not like this? Or many Muslims like this? Right? Surely, even the Arabic speakers in Saudi, right, and in what do you call it, in Yemen, right, are similar because it's not about your understanding of the Arabic language. It's how much Allah guides you after you understand what you are reading. Yeah, because as I said before, right, I've seen many people come here in the UK from Saudi Arabia, LGBT, claiming asylum, right? Whereas the stories of Prophet Lut is tremendous in the Quran, right? I'm not here to judge, of course. Surely all of us have our, surely all of us have our weaknesses. Some people are perpetually late, right? Some people are perpetually late, right? Some people are, and having all these things. Everybody's different, right? But eventually, all of us will come to Allah to be judged one day, right? So it is important that all of us are seeking, uh, making effort in order um, to seek knowledge and to ensure that we only have what do you call it, beneficial knowledge, yeah, not the things that will not benefit us. Okay. Now, if talking about another nation called Thamud, right, in Surah number 41, verse number 17, 41:17, yeah, Allah said, "Fastahabbul ama ala al-huda," but they preferred blindness to guidance. Blindness doesn't mean that you go blind, but the hearts go blind. Is it true? That they prefer. Why are people doing this? Even today in the Muslim world, you have the Quran, the miracle of the books, right? Why are people doing this?
But sometimes easier in this life to do what the shaitan
Yes.
around us rather than what the Quran says.
Yeah.
The Quran with guidance provides guidelines, or the Prophet guidelines.
Yes.
But in this society, it's easy to go out and drink. It's easy to go out partying, but
Yes.
it's harder to say to those people no.
So people are more swayed towards, well, this race to have the best wealth and the best, best buildings and best cars and all this, and this is a race. And honestly, between you and me, right, that's why I moved here from Singapore, because I'm out of that race. Because the race in Singapore is much more quicker than London. London is nothing, right? Singapore is much more quicker. It's all about the 6 C's. What are 6 C's? Cash, car, credit card, country club membership.
Is that three?
Huh?
Wait, country club membership.
Cash, card, as in credit card, right? Country club membership, car. A car in Singapore costs at least about 50 to 60,000 pounds, at least, right? Was it
Condo, like the house.
condominium, right? All the 6 C's must be in the system, and you have to be in that race usually, right? So I extracted myself, alhamdulillah, to come here because alhamdulillah, I found so much more peace here, away from that race.
So Japan's like that as well.
Yes, of course, Japan does other things very fast. Yeah, 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 yeah. And this one, and that's why it's very important that we understand where we stand, right? So if we know that Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam warned us against al-wahan, which is
The love of the dunya.
love of dunya, fear of death. Brothers, like it or not, all of us must ponder over death. It will come either tomorrow, next week. How on earth are we going to extend to Allah that we don't have sufficient deeds to present to Allah, right? Has Allah given us enough guidance? Yes or no?
Way too much.
Did Allah promise us guidance? Did Allah give us guidance through the Quran and Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam? Right? Where did Allah say this again? That's a good question. He promised us guidance.
238.
238, right? قُلْنَا اهْبِطُوا مِنْهَا جَمِيعًا فَإِمَّا يَأْتِيَنَّكُم مِّنِّي هُدًى فَمَن تَبِعَ هُدَايَ فَلَا خَوْفٌ عَلَيْهِمْ وَلَا هُمْ يَحْزَنُونَ. Allah said, let get down both of you from this place, or all of you from this place, but there will come to you my guidance. Not guidance from your father, or from Allah. Must be only from Allah, right? And whoever follows my guidance, upon him shall have no grief, nor shall they fear. Yeah. And so important, but Allah, of course, Allah gave another alternative. What is Allah alternative? وَالَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا وَكَذَّبُوا بِآيَاتِنَا أُولَٰئِكَ أَصْحَابُ النَّارِ هُمْ فِيهَا خَالِدُونَ. Right? But those who disbelieve, right, and those who what do you call it, forget about Allah, right, when upon them there will be hellfire and they will abide therein forever. Just the next verse. So Allah always gives you and me an alternative, isn't it true? We are always given a freedom of choice. It's up to you and me to make sure that we make the right choice, right, in order for all of us to obey Allah. Yeah. Now, the ban is turn to Surah number 4, verse number 155. And it's quite important because you may ask, how come Allah guides some people, how Allah does not guide others? Right? In Surah number 4, verse 155, Allah say, وَقَوْلِهِمْ قُلُوبُنَا غُلْفٌ بَلْ طَبَعَ اللَّهُ عَلَيْهَا بِكُفْرِهِمْ فَلَا يُؤْمِنُونَ إِلَّا قَلِيلٌ. And they're saying, our hearts are wrapped. I'm sure you heard about this in the Quran many times. What do you mean our hearts are wrapped? That means somehow or other they have there's a covering that somehow or other Allah's guidance cannot penetrate that covering, right? Rather, Allah has sealed the hearts because of disbelief. That is how when some of you are asking me, oh, subhanallah, Shaykh, my parents are not Muslim and all this. Well, you can only do your best, isn't it true? To show them the right path. Eventually, it's not you who will guide them, it's Allah who will guide them. And it's quite important. Your dead heart, yes. Right? That has Allah has sealed, right? Because of their disbelief, and they do not believe except for a few. They do not believe except for a few. And this is quite important. This is referred to the children of Israel, right? Again, of how Allah misguide many of them, right? Now, this is interesting supplication by Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, right? Allahumma anfa'ni bima 'allimtani wa 'allimni ma yanfa'uni wa zidni 'ilman. Ya Allah, benefit me from that which you taught me, and teach me that which will benefit me and increase me in knowledge. So everything that we have, there's knowledge everywhere, but not all knowledge are beneficial to you. And if you ponder about the knowledge you have, you must think whether this knowledge has made you better in terms of your iman, better in terms of taqwa, your acts of good deeds. If it's not beneficial, then surely, right, you won't want to pursue that kind of knowledge, right? One of the things that for me personally that I find that things really motivate me are stories of prophets. So then we went to the book, the green and the red and the blue one, right? It's so heartwarming to see how amazing the companions were, yeah, and how small or how little that we have done in terms of this, yeah. Alhamdulillah, yeah, because at yeah. Yes. Yes. So Allah gets whatever He wills. You're right? So can you imagine the one of the worst people in humanity has one of the best women in humanity? Who are the best women? Best woman. Who's the best woman? His wife, called Asiya. Then Maryam, Khadija, and Fatima. So these four. Another narration put Aisha there, right? Yeah. Of course, she is all the companions go to her for knowledge, right? Khadija, yeah, the prophet's first wife. Right? Because why was Khadija included?
She believed in it when no one did.
Yes, that's Aisha Ranha was very jealous of her. Was very jealous of her.
All the weapons of it, they say, why you
Yeah.
all of them.
Yeah. You know, but so another thing that we need to understand, if you read the Quran, that should be our character. The character of Prophet Muhammad was the Quran. Yeah. Can you imagine, brothers, those who are married, yeah, Adam, almost married, not married yet. Yasin,
Material.
right? Ghufran, right? Can you imagine? Ghufran, tell me, right? What would you do, right? In front of your, let's say in front of us, right? Your wife smashed a piece of plates on the ground.
Oh, yeah, I know.
What would you do in front of everybody? Your Afghan blood is like, isn't it true? Right? You agree, right? You feel like your face will get very angry, right? What did Prophet Muhammad SAW say? Yeah, yeah. Look at your mother, right? She's very upset. That's about it, no? Smiling and can you do this? Can you do this?
What get
If your wife is were to smash a place in front of everybody, what is your reaction?
crazy?
If you're upset with her, isn't it true? Right? But Prophet SAW simply say, that's it. Right? Your mother is very, very upset. And that's about it. He was smiling. And that is huge in terms of patience. We have been taught in many verses about patience, right? In which if you brothers at this stage, I know so many couples who are facing divorce on the basis of the men being hurtful and not being patient to the wife. Like it or not, wife, the woman are from a totally different planet. You agree, right? You just need to understand them and need to be patient. You need to be patient because you're not married, you don't understand, right? Once you're married, you understand. Do you agree, Ufran? Right? Complete different planet, right? But brothers, as much as you see Umar ibn Khattab as very, very
Oh, yeah.
big and very, even Shaitan was scared of him, right? Shaitan will always,
What man came to me.
but you can never see any hadith that he would even lift a finger or even raise a voice at the wife. Remember the story of how one of the Sahaba wanted to complain because, right, when they migrated to Medina, the woman, actually Mecca women were claimed to be very obedient, right? Once they mix with the Medina woman, they start to complain to their husbands, right? So this person wanted to complain to Umar ibn Khattab, and he was dressed at the door, knocked on the door, and he heard the Umar ibn Khattab was just standing still, and then the wife was and all this, right? So then he went away. And then Umar bin Khattab heard somebody went away. He chased after him and said, "What happened? You wanted to see me? Oh, I want to complain about my wife, but it seems that you face the same problem, right? That and you're talking about it's difficult, of course, being a man, being a husband. You're right, Fran. You agree that you're still in your honeymoon period. You do not know.
No, I do.
Just on your honeymoon, not, not yet, right? Right? Adam, the Somalian Adam, right? Um, where we have made it for a long time, is still these issues of being very patient to the Anisa, the woman, and that is very important in order for your marriage to be successful.
Yeah, but simplicity, I think you understand. When you talk the same way they talk, then you will never win. But the best thing is that, you know what, you're
The best thing is that okay, you win, you win,
You
you
do
win, you
win.
win. Right?
Get oxygen.
Yes, yeah, sure. Right.
Okay, so thank you.
Again, you are correct, Akram. Right? What is the hadith that Prophet Muhammad say about treating women well?
I think it's about the argument. Yeah, the argument. I think it's talking about the argument. I think.
No, what is the hadith? It's in the hadith. Yes. The best of yeah, the best of yeah, the best to wives, I'm the best to my wives, right? And best means of course treating them nicely and to be patient and etc., which is not easy. I can raise up my hands, it's not easy, but you just have okay in front of the men you have to be a lion, but in front of your wife you must be like a cat, literally, right? Because you will never solve anything. Do you agree? Right? There must be a little bit because if you cannot fight fire with fire. You have to fight fire with water. One person can just have to shut up. Either a wife's turn or husband's turn. Just need to keep quiet. Then the marriage will work. You cannot have, for example, and this all is part of our characters that we learn in the Quran, right? That we cannot have you being this macho shit, right? To be a man in the family and saying that I'm a man, I can do whatever I want, your marriage will never work. It will never survive, especially in this century, right? And this is very important that we truly realize this, yeah, that you just need to be patient, right?
Because I'm from Somalia, the biggest problem that we have is this. They want to raise family the same as back home. You know, back
Yes.
home, you have your auntie there, your uncle there, your father. So it's like
Yeah.
they get a misconception of like, it takes a child, it takes a village to raise a child.
Yes.
They got the misconception of that being here.
Yes.
But here, your
It's
wife,
different.
you're like a husband,
Yeah.
a friend,
Yeah.
a brother,
Yeah. Yeah.
because
Yeah.
she's seeing you every day.
Yeah.
Everybody else is busy with their own life.
Yes. Yes.
So that is the misconception that we have.
Yes. Not only that, your Islam must encompass your culture.
Exactly.
Not your culture encompass Islam, right? Algerians are quite aggressive, In general, I've seen it myself, right? A lot of the problems my students have with Algerian men, right? And because of the culture, I mean, nothing with anything. It is a culture, especially when you marry other people of other cultures. You do need to be different. Sorry? If I'm Algerian, Alhamdulillah. Okay, right. All right. So let's go through what are the signs of beneficial knowledge, which you must know, right? Number one, right? If a person is not given success to act upon their knowledge, then that knowledge is harmful because the Prophet ﷺ said, and the Quran is a proof for or against you. The Quran is a proof for or against. What does it mean? It's for Muslim, so it's authentic, inshallah.
If you read it, implement it, it's for you, really.
Yes.
But then if you do the opposite, you don't.
It's against you.
It's against you.
Yes.
It's
The,
not gonna add
brothers, the Quran will be our intercessor, inshallah, on the day of judgment. Agreed? Right? In the authentic hadith, the Quran will say, this person was not sleeping because of me. Let me intercede for him or her, of course. Yeah. So it is important that in order to understand the first sign that a knowledge is beneficial, you can see it in your character. You can see. You can't say that you have a lot of knowledge when the sisters are not wearing hijab. You agree, right? Because that must be one of the first things to obey. Sami'na wa ata'na. Many verses of the Quran, Allah was saying about to wear the headscarf. Allah didn't use the word hijab, right? Hijab was used as in the Quran like a barrier, right? So people are using this excuse, no? It's not hijab is not in the Quran about headscarf. No, Allah used the word khimar, used the word jalabiyah, right, in order to indicate the head cover and symbol is about modesty. Not only that, again, in modern Muslims today, the sisters 2023, it's all about hijab, and yet we're so tight. In my gym, right, these women wear short sleeve, so tight, I can see everything, right? And then has a male instructor to support her. How can it be? So what's the point of wearing hijab? Not judging, of course. So I'm talking about the knowledge that you're supposed to have. You're not understanding about anything about hijab, right? And you can see sometimes in the underground, right? The sisters are having all this wearing hijab, but not talking so loudly, taking all this attention, right? Some people wear hijab and they smoke and all this, or they do shisha and all this. It's not uncommon to have this. So this is just a garment, not because that you. And again, I heard it for many sisters, right? That what do you call it? It is a they just wear hijab because it's the culture.
Nowadays, I'm seeing other sisters dress very nice. Do you think they should now go back to
Some, not all. Sadly, with the social media, it's not getting better. It's getting worse because they are looking at the influence of all these people, the rich people. Can you imagine? And I don't know. Don't ask me why I've seen it on the social media. The sister was in front of the Masjid Haram, dancing with the niqab and all this. Subhanallah, right? Because sometimes when you click on something, it just fits into your. So you see all these kind of horrible things, right? Sorry? Yeah.
I think it's just it's a fashion now, you know.
Yeah, it's
You've
fashion.
seen these
It's a fashion now.
influencers, they wear
Yes.
like jilbab, and then
Yes.
1 minute they wear jilbab and they'll take a picture, and
Yeah.
the next minute
Yeah,
they'll
yeah,
have
yeah. Yeah, agree.
naked.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Say though, but like for sisters, their religion is very outward. Whereas for brothers, we don't need to wear kippah or anything.
Mm.
We'll still follow Allah. But then there's still brothers that go to Raleigh and they go to Shisha after. So it's not just women doing wrong. Some of the brothers are younger, they'll just get red pill and think on women.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, so if you have beneficial knowledge, would you take shisha? Would you do shisha at all? No, isn't it true? Right? Then,
brothers, even sometimes they tell them they wear like tight things you're not supposed to.
mm,
Yeah, those also because for the brothers, isn't it? Like,
yeah,
to come loose.
yeah, of course. Not just for the sisters, for the brothers too. Right? Always remember, فَمَا يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ خَيْرًا يَرَهُ وَمَا يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ شَرًّا يَرَهُ. That whoever does a good deed equal to the weight of atom shall see it. Whoever does an evil equal to the weight of an atom shall see it on the day of judgment. Right? Yes. It's difficult call to say, but again, you're asking me a question. What do people do when you see all the social media? What is the hadith? If you see an evil, what must you do first? Change with your hands. That means you try to do something. If not, then you change it with your mouth, your tongue, say something. Then if the worst, the lowest iman is when you change it with your heart. You hate what they're doing. So it's a hadith. And again, in another verse of the Quran, وَلْتَكُمْ مِنْكُمْ أُمَّةٌ يَدْعُونَ إِلَى الْخَيْرِ وَيَأْمُرُونَ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ وَيَنْهَوْنَ عَنِ الْمُنكَرِ وَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْمُفْلِحُونَ. Which means, then let there be among you a group of people inviting to all that is good, enjoining what is right, forbidding what is evil. It is the successful ones. If you do this, because giving advice, it is obligatory or is it a sunnah? It's obligatory to give advice, right? And you get the reward of success, means Jannah, inshallah. Adam?
I don't know where it was said, and I'm just kind of asking for confirmation, but isn't it also better to give advice even if you were to be a hypocrite? Even if you were to have a sin that you do in private, it's better to
Yes,
advise against it.
of course, because at the end of the day, because for example, right, let's say I'm not, let's say I've not been praying 5 times a day, but if I want to advise somebody to be a good Muslim, I cannot say, oh, it's okay, so I don't pray, you need to pray, you need to pray 5 times a day, right? But you don't expose your sins, something like that. Okay.
But then the Quran says, tells you to practice what you preach.
It is, but perhaps I didn't do it because of my weaknesses and all this, right? So perhaps I try my best, but I still cannot do it. It might take time. Everybody is different, have different reasons, right? But if I don't do it, you have a good point, because I'm just pure lazy. I don't think salah is important, but I preach people to do 5 because that's what you are talking about, right? Understand? Yeah. So which surah it is? 61. 61. If you turn 61, everybody, verse number 2 and 3. Isn't it true? Yeah. Can you read for me, please? يا أيها الذين آمنوا 2 and 3. 61. Right. The meaning? O true belief, why do you say things that you do not do? Most hateful it is to Allah if you say the things but you do not do it. That means you advise people to do it, but you don't do it. And this falls according to what we discussed with Ayub. So that means I deliberately do not want to pray because I think it's not important. But I tell people that you need to pray 5 times a day. It's different than I'm trying hard to pray, but somehow that I didn't get the manage to pray. But I feel regretful, but I must tell people I need to pray 5 times a day, something like that.
Sheikh, how does that even make sense? I mean, it's something you advise people, which you assume you think is beneficial, but then you don't think is beneficial.
It's just that Allah gets whomever He wills. Allah gets whomever He wills. So there are people, like it or not, they are struggling, isn't it true? With women, right? Adam, right? Happens.
But when you say I don't do it, I'm in the wrong, but I'm telling you the right way to do it.
No, you shouldn't expose your sins. Just keep it to yourself, right? Yes. I said I tried so. I tried my best.
Shouldn't you
Yeah.
tell them, ask, that's why, like, to ask about somebody else's needs?
You're not allowed to ask
No,
them.
but perhaps the person just want to have a confirmation. Is everybody praying 5 times a day? Just about to comfort themselves, right? So it is quite important that to understand that not everybody is on the same page, and it's not up to you and me to judge. Is it true? That person is a womanizer. People involved in cheatings and lying. You need to advise them, of course, right? But everybody is different. Everybody have the same form of struggle every day. Isn't it true? Whether it is, I mean, I know one or two people with his LGBT trying to change himself and all this, right? They're trying their best. I'm not there to judge. I'm just to advise at the end of the day, right? So they are struggling, but they're struggling. They're trying their best, right? So you just need to be a good brother and just to be advising them at all times, yeah, inshallah. Now the next one, a sign of beneficial knowledge that you hate to be praised, complimented, or displaying haughtiness over others. Right?
So you like the
Yeah. So to be praised, is it good or bad? Bad, especially in front of everybody. You can't praise individually.
Wait, to be praised is bad.
That means let's say people praise you,
Yes.
right? If you have knowledge, you would not like it, right? It's okay to motivate others. Oh, you did a good job and all this. But if you have knowledge, you hate to be praised because you know you have a lot of faults yourself, right? Yes. Yes, in the hadith, you're supposed to throw, but there's no sand. What can I do? Throw sand, so slippers, right? So this is one of the signs of that you have beneficial knowledge, isn't it true? Right? That you hate to be praised because you know you have brothers. If the walls can speak, right?
Yes. It's not correct.
You will know yourself that you have many things, individual, all of us, right? But alhamdulillah, Allah is hiding our sins, yeah, and shortcomings. Yes.
Akram once mentioned to me that like, one of the signs of a good Khalif or a good leader is that they don't want to. Does that come under what you're talking about?
They do not want
They
to be.
don't want
Yeah.
to be a
So that means they do not want to
Allocate
be the people just vote them, but they do not want to be. Abu Bakr did not want to be the Khalifa.
Yeah. So if you want to be Khalifa, does that mean you're not going to be a good one?
Huh?
Good
So if you
leaders. Good
No,
leaders.
but if you have voted for it, then for the sake of
you
Allah,
want to be one, does that mean you're not going to be a good one?
yes, that means you shouldn't be wanting to be in a position of power,
Okay.
right?
I understand.
So, for example, I'm thinking about myself, right? I love these kind of groups, right? I can help to motivate one of you, even if, for me personally, like alhamdulillah, his brother Fu is listening in Vietnam, right?
Assalamu alaikum.
If I can help him, that is so, I mean, it's so happy. I do not need to speak in front of 1,000 people in order to make me a good person and all this. I don't want that. I've rejected a few offers to speak in front of everybody else. I like to be this small group that I can help to build everybody in the group, inshallah, right? Oh, it's difficult, yes, of course. Yeah. There's a lot of risk because you may directly or indirectly pass message that may not be true, right? Yes. You can, but you have to be careful. Yeah, because a lot of responsibilities in terms of when power in general. But even I was quite surprised when I read the stories about. I've sent you the stories of Abu Dar, right? In your WhatsApp group, right? Have you read it? You must read it, right? he hates people to be in this position, and he always advised. I was quite surprised. I didn't know that, brothers, that even at the early stage of how when Islam expanded, I didn't know that there's still a lot of corruptions after, I think after Uthman, a lot of corruption. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I know. I'm sure there's a little, but I didn't know there's quite a lot. The Abu Dhar is always nitpicking all these leaders in order for them not to be corrupted, not to be, because quite a lot of them, they want money and they want power. And this is, I'm quite surprised when I read this. Then I realized that. So Abu Dhar is one of those who doesn't like this. They say he didn't want to be in power at all, right? And subhanAllah, he got so much reward. You can see all the advice of Prophet given to him, and amazing advice to Abu Dhar. Sorry, who asked my question? Yes. Of course. Then I would before that I would do this istikhara prayer, isn't it true? To ask Allah for counsel, but this is the right thing for me. Yes. But sadly, in our beloved country UK, right? All the Muslim MPs voted for the gay marriage.
What's happening? Not gay marriage?
They voted. I'm so excited. I never seen so excited. They voted for the gay marriage. All the Muslim MPs. So this is what happened, right? Because when you have power, you want to have more votes. Because of that, you compromise your Islam in order to get more votes. It's not uncommon when people do this, right? In many countries, right? Pakistan, Afghanistan, right? In Afghanistan, perhaps before the Taliban, right? In Afghanistan, in order to win your case in court, you just need to pay them money, the judge, and you win the case. No money, no talk. Right? Simple as that.
So you have to have a cash to talk.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so the second thing, right? So the first one, if the science of beneficial knowledge is implementation. Secondly, hatred of being praised, complimented, or displaying haughtiness on others. Yeah. Number three, increasing your humility with the increase of your knowledge. It's quite interesting, right? Because a lot of people now, especially those who call us as Salafis, right? They think that with that small knowledge they have, they're better than others. If you don't follow that, I have a lot of people, my ex-students who were turning that side, and they were being brainwashed completely. They think that all of us disbelievers, right? So you know who are them? I'm talking about, right? Adam, right? So it is important that with knowledge increase, you must have more humility. Is it true? You can't have more knowledge and more arrogant. That doesn't work at all in Islam. Right? The Sahaba, if you look at them, how their lifestyle was, they will always be in tears. They always think they always underestimate the deeds. Always underestimate. Don't overestimate your value to Allah. Right? You have the Sufis, for example. Right? They think that awliya of Allah. Right? They claim that you're awliya. Right? So they people kiss their hands and they like it. All is completely people with no knowledge. Yeah. The next one, right? As we discussed, to flee from the love of leadership, fame, and the worldly pleasures. If you have more knowledge, right? If the science of beneficial knowledge, that you do not want this, right? Because with fame and with wealth, especially, you always end up wanting more wealth, and because of that, you end up disobeying Allah to get that wealth. Examples in the Quran: Firaun, Qarun, and then Al-Kaf. The two people one person was given everything, was given nothing and all, right? And with wealth, they always forget Allah, always. And this happens in many of the different nations, right? The people are very powerful and rich. The people of Thamud and Ad and all this. With that, they will always forget Allah. Yeah. Number 5, it is quite important, right? Able to say I don't know. A person with beneficial knowledge will say I don't know. Right? Remember AICC, right? One of the Afghan Muhammad, the beautiful Afghan brother, was saying about, because we were discussing about you shouldn't pray 2 rak'ah, right? And he was saying about there's a hadith from Abu Dawud that there is a sunnah prayer before what they call it, before the Jum'ah. Then I said I do not know right? Please share me the hadith. Because you don't know, means you don't know, right? So actually, to explain to you what that hadith was exactly what we discussed, right? Brothers, always remember tomorrow Jum'ah, right? Right? It is a sunnah to go in the mosque with two tahiyatul masjid. Two tahiyatul masjid, two rak'ah. But if you want to do, you can do it. But not with the intention after adhan I need to do sunnah. You can do any sunnah. So this is in line with hadith of Abu Dawud. It's not dissimilar with what I was saying to the group. We can do 2, 4, whatever it is, until the Imam appears. Right? Before the khutbah. We can do, but this is not under or between adhan and iqamah. It's not like a dhuhr. Right? Yeah, before dhuhr, yes. Yeah, it's only about a few minutes in it. It's not the whole time. Yes, before that, yes. Because some people want to get what is the reward of the earliest come to the mosque? Yes. And what is the hadith that I posted to you in the group about if you come early, what happened?
Oh, you get every steps.
No. No. The hadith. Remember every Friday what happened, inshallah, in Jannah? What happened in every Friday in Jannah? Which one in Jannah? Is it in Pakistani Jannah? Yes. What happened every Friday? You know?
We see Allah's face.
Correct? Yeah. All of us will appear in front of Allah, right? Some of us will sit on the throne, some people will sit on the stool, some people will sit on the floor, and Allah would appear. Right? And this hadith said that if you come, the earlier you come to Jannah, the closer you are to Allah.
The earlier you come to Jum'ah.
Yes. So don't you want to be close to Allah? Because you always remember, right? Inshallah, in Jannah, it's not about 10 people. It's about, inshallah, millions and millions of people, inshallah. You do not want to be at the back, essentially, when Allah is just in front of you. You want to be closer. So this is why you come close to all this hadith, inshallah. Sorry, question?
So you know when every fard salah, you must go to the first row and then
Yes, because it's automatic, right? You need to fill up the rows near the imam first, the center first, right? But if you do not, the first row especially, if you don't know much about the surah, then don't be behind the imam, because the imam is supposed to correct the imams in the recitations. Or if imams, I did before, right? I told you, right? In my one of the prayers, we were in prostration. Imam passed in, and then he left. All of us didn't know what's happening, And then somebody just took over. The person should be one behind the imam to take over. As far, left, right side made a difference. Is right or left side made a difference? Right is better usually.
Also, is there a limit on Tahiyatul Masjid?
Yes, what do you mean?
it's just two.
Is it 2 or
Just need to. Yes. So even if you miss the Tahiyatul Masjid, let's say when you come in the mosque, the obligatory prayer started. There's no more Tahiyatul Masjid. You must join immediately, not like some Asian brothers, right? It's very annoying, right? And you know what I'm talking about, right? They go straight to the Tahiyatul Masjid, and then when the Imam is praying, it's completely not allowed in Islam. You must join the prayer. Yes. No, it's not the Jummah. It's later, inshallah. Okay. So number 5, able to say I do not know, right? It's very important. Yeah. Now this is very interesting, right? There's a one person who came to Imam. Brothers, it's no shame to say you do not know. People think that you must know everything. Even the Sahaba, a lot of them, when they ask questions, they say, do not know. Right? Rather than say something that is wrong, then you get sin, of course. Okay? Questions? Yes.
you say Allah has two right hands, how does Allah have two right hands? Or do you know, like, on the last day of the night, Allah comes down to the heaven?
Yeah.
Oh, how does he come down? Does he leave his throat? Those kind of questions.
Yeah.
If you ask those kind of questions, that could, does that take you, not take you before,
It will confuse you.
because I heard
Yeah.
Malik, someone asked a question to him, and he got like, angry, like, yeah.
I would do the same. I would throw my things at you. Yeah. Something's just left as it is. Yes. Sorry? Yeah, I'm going to say that. All right. Let me see. Sorry, yeah. It's from Sheikh Abu Al-Hasan Malik Adam saying I don't know is half of the knowledge. Right? So saying I do not know is half the knowledge. So don't be embarrassed, so you do not know. Do not mean you don't know, rather than guess anything. Salam. Right. Number next one, crying. Right? He whose knowledge doesn't cause him to weep can be justifiably considered not to have been granted beneficial knowledge. Right? And this is important, right? Because don't be think that that's because you're a man you shouldn't cry, right? Have you cried? Have you cried? Have you cried, Muhammad? Yes. Right? 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 Have you cried? Crying, yes. Crying because of your fear of Allah, because you think of the day of judgment. Have you cried before? Yes or no?
I don't know exactly. Bro. Yes.
Yeah. So it is important because I know some brothers they cannot cry for whatever reasons. I do not know. But you should force yourself to cry. You should, because it softens the heart, isn't it true? Right? Yes.
You know the ayah in the Quran about like someone's great.
Yes.
Some lives.
Yes.
That's linked to like some kind of like roughly cry a lot, so he was
Yes.
kind of like seeking. So those who cry,
Yes. Example is Al-Baqarah after the Bani Israel. Examples. Yes.
If you like judge someone, like Allah when from buying something like that,
You enjoy someone?
you judge him.
I do not know. Get to me the hadith, please. Right? Okay. So, yes. Sometimes you can't help it, isn't it true? No, I mean in the sense that sometimes in Qunut Dua, right? Everybody's crying. You also have to cry because perhaps you're affected by the verse of the Quran.
Like, you know someone and you cry, you're not supposed to be waiting and just cry, just tear eyes.
Yeah. But that crying is different, right? That crying is because of sadness. I'm talking about crying because you fear Allah, fear of death, their judgment, and it's very different. Yep. But of course, when you're talking about the 7 people who are shaded by Allah, right? It is those people who are crying in private, not in public. Right? And you know, right? Have you cried in private? Sometimes you just think about Allah. It's just, I was like, yeah. It's like it just happens in your life, right? So signs of non-beneficial knowledge is, of course, that they do not practice what they preach, right? And it breeds haughtiness, pride, and arrogance. Number 2, it causes one to seek elevation in the worldly life, right? Getting into arguments, right? Now, a lot of people, whether it's so-called scholars or not, they like to go into arguments. They like to argue, and they want to have the last say, that they are always correct. What is the hadith regarding this?
Anyone who gives up arguing, they're correct. It's
Get what? The three things, right? The three things in the hadith. You're correct. You're on the same page. What is the hadith? The three things.
What's the issue?
No, we are talking about getting into arguments. You want to have the last say, but there is a hadith that Allah, Adam, Allah. What is the hadith? The three things that you will get. Yes.
you get avoiding lying.
Yes. What do you get? Which part? The one is the outer part of Jannah, is it true? One is the middle, one is the highest part. Sorry? Akhlaq is the highest, yes. Second highest is giving up argument, even though you're on the right. Right? The outer part is that you do, what do you say just now? You do not lie even though you're joking. Right?
So what do they give you?
One of them is the outer part, one is the middle part, one is the highest part. This is the promise by Prophet Muhammad.
And what do they do? What do they mean respectively? So the highest part,
Highest part is the one that is highest standard of character. Akhlaq, your mannerism.
And the other one is the one is you give up hand and you argue,
What? Sorry?
That's in it.
That is the middle part, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
middle part comes the
After
legal argument.
Leaving argument is the middle part, I think. The outer part is the you don't lie, even though you're joking. Yeah. Okay. Can you Google it for me? I did then just post in the group, inshallah. Let's remind each other. Okay. Any questions? No, this is this is science that you don't go into arguments. Because a lot of people want to be in the right all the time. Right? But even though you're in the right, you just need to be. Why is it that the hadith comes about that you give up argument? Why is it such a hadith? Even though you're on the right, you give up the argument. Why? First of all, to avoid shaitan and for putting arrogance in your heart. And secondly, more important, to preserve brotherhood in Islam. Brotherhood in Islam is so important, brothers. The brotherhood in Islam is so important that you need to maintain our brotherhood. We must not talk to others for how many days? What is maximum days?
3 days.
3 days. Right? Yes.
So I've thought about this before. Is there any situations where it's appropriate to keep defending your position in an argument? Is there a different word?
No. At the end of the day, Adam, guidance is from Allah, isn't it true? You only need to say once or twice, the most. Right?
So let's
Just get quiet.
I'm just give the example of like a spouse issue.
In what sense?
Your wife wants to go do something that could be considered wrong.
Yes.
Yes, that's wrong, right?
Of course.
Right. So
Because she, again, if she's a believer, if she has a beneficial knowledge, she would obey the husband.
so even if it's an argument, just stay at your post.
Yeah, of course. You need to, for example, when your wives want to go to Dubai with their friends, it's not uncommon, right? You need to stop it. It's not allowed, isn't it true? Bolt the door, close. Right?
I don't know, like if women at a certain age, can they go to Hajj with other sisters? No.
Yes.
And they,
I consulted this one of the scholars.
Yes.
Remember one of the imams here who got the eye.
I always forget to ask. Sorry.
The imam here who got the eye poked out.
Yeah. That's
He was a very big scholar.
Very knowledgeable.
You didn't know this? One of the imams here was leading a Fajr prayer, right? And then after that he was alone with a man who wanted to know about Islam. Right? It was about 7 o'clock, right? And then at the shurak there, he suddenly put his hands in the imam's eyes and became blind.
When was this?
Wait, here.
Here, this mosque, yeah.
When was this?
That was about at least 10 years
He
ago.
came from here or here because they said to him the Sheikh is not here. So he came from one of these and then he started talking to the Sheikh.
Yeah, it was at the shurak there. It happened. I was there. We were outside waiting to do Jum'ah. The mosque was closed because police were all here. Right? Yes. Fingers, yeah. Blind, become blind.
Why did he do it?
They claim, as usual, they claim insanity. Isn't it?
Does anyone remember the?
Anyway. Okay, what was the question?
I can't remember. The story just really.
It was about a woman.
Oh right. When are you allowed?
Oh yeah, so he was one of the, he was actually qualified to give fatwa. So I came to him because I was bringing my students steps Allah together, right? And then a woman allowed to go without the mahram. And he said, I remember very clearly, because if he said no, I would don't allow the sisters to come, right? And then he said no, that is a Saudi ruling. It's not Islamic ruling. As long as a group of sisters are clearing together, it's okay in Islam, right? So it's allowed. Group of sisters.
Oh, is a Saudi? So it's legally allowed, not allowed.
Islamically more important, right? I don't care about legal though. Right?
So what happens if they're just not allowed to work?
Who?
Yeah, I've got to say, it's Saudi ruling.
So in those days, right? People who went to Umrah or Hajj must bring their brother or husband or uncle with them, right? But now it changed. But that was a Saudi ruling, not Islamic ruling, to travel without a mahram. Yes.
Does it count traveling to other places in general?
Is there a specific instance?
I don't know.
In London. Yeah, in different countries, yes. Yes. Right? But I think today, I mean, it's different from 40 years ago, right? It's more safe, inshallah, to travel in these countries. Now, yes, definitely. Yeah.
I thought they could do a group of sisters, isn't it?
Yes, better to Google up sisters, of course. Yeah. Okay.
I heard it's good to travel by itself.
That's what he said.
Yeah, it's not about that.
Yes. Okay. Lastly, I never hardly do this, right? There's a poetry, right?
Yes.
Act upon your knowledge and you will profit, O man. Knowledge doesn't benefit as so long as one doesn't perfect his actions. Knowledge is beauty and taqwa of Allah is decoration. Those with taqwa are always preoccupied with their knowledge. A good intro, right? The proof of Allah, O possessor of knowledge, is immense. Neither plotting nor scheming concerning it is of any use. Acquire knowledge and perform deeds as much as you can, and do not let vain pastimes and argumentation distract you. Teach the people, and always make it your goal to benefit them. And beware of fatigue and weariness overtaking you. Admonish your brother with gentleness when he makes a mistake, for knowledge is affectionate with those who are overcome by errors. And if you are amidst a people that have no religious morals, then command them to do good when they act ignorantly. If they disobey you, then remind them without getting annoyed. And be patient, strive in patience, and do not let the actions worry you, for every goal is attached to its 2 feet. Have patience whether they are oppressive or fair. Right? So in general, right, it is important that we focus on knowledge that will benefit you on your deen. Right? So do you understand to this topic? Right? Because you will feel it, right? If somehow you read the Quran a lot and it doesn't affect you, something must be wrong with your recitation, isn't it true? If you do a salah, for example, right, it doesn't change you, you're still committing sins, then something must be wrong, because Allah said, Inna salata tanha anil fahsha'i wal munkar. The prayer will prevent immoralities and disobedience to Allah. Which surah is this, Akram? 29, 45, right? So it is important, yeah, that we only seek beneficial knowledge and not UK.
Why do you keep saying UK?
And beneficial knowledge.
Oh, okay, the United Kingdom.
So slow, no?
UK.
Precisely. Unless you have US. What's the US? And beneficial skills. Skills. Right. Okay, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide all of us, yeah, to have beneficial knowledge of the deen. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept our deeds and forgive us our shortcomings. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant all of us Jannatul Firdaus. Subhanallahi wa bihamdihi wa astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun. wa sallallahu alaihi wa sallam alamin. Assalamu alaikum wa barakatuh. Lastly, do you want to say anything? Do you want to say anything?
But thank you very much for all. Alhamdulillah, when I read start with Shadinat, and now I'm very happy. And
Alhamdulillah. How did you come to this class?
I think the first day is on June.
How do you know about this class?
The day.
How do you find
How do you find this class? Sorry, my English is not good. What? How do you know about this class?
It's very good.
No, how do you know about this class? How do you find out about this class?
Who brought you?
Yes, I'm one time I will pray the Asr and I will see the group and I will come after.
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. Can we take a photo with him? Yeah. Please come. I think face the mosque much better. No, face the mosque. Come here. Yeah.
Check that in the sky.
Huh?
That in the sky.
And the call.
Oh, sorry. Assalamualaikum.